The greatest wealth transfer is about to take place. What reserve are you building for your future? Profit from the greatest wealth transfer now or die a financial death. All the wealth you want in this life is within your reach. The greatest wealth transfer is about to take place. What reserve are you building for your future and generations to come? Do you know that you have the potential to profit from the greatest wealth transfer that is about to take place now? That is if you know how to build a reserve for yourself, just as Joseph did for Egypt in the days of King Pharaoh. However, if you don't take the appropriate steps now, you will end up dead financially in the end. In a few minutes from now, I will let you into the secret of why I said you will end up dead financially if you don't take appropriate steps to learn how to wealth. Who am I? First thing first, my name is Emmanuel. I retired as a chief technical officer in a government-owned telecoms company in 2006. Ordinarily, I should know what wealth is. But what exactly is true wealth? In this presentation, I'm going to take you through how to profit from the greatest wealth transfer now or die a financial death, using the financial interpretation of the story of Joseph after he was sold into slavery in Egypt. I will not take your valuable time for granted, so in about 9 minutes or less, it should be over. I will suggest that you close all chat programs and give this presentation your maximum attention. It may turn out to be the best decision taken. Let's look at the story of Joseph after he was sold into slavery in Egypt. If you have heard this story before, I strongly suggest that you still stay on because you may not have given a financial interpretation to it. The story of Joseph gives you very important keys to how to profit from the greatest wealth transfer now or die a financial death. It will reveal the clue to wealth management in the prevailing economic climate. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, the captain of the palace guards in Egypt. Because of Joseph, the Lord blessed the house of Potiphar, everything he had in the house and the farm. Potiphar, as a result, handed over the administration of everything he had to Joseph, except his wife. Good, you would say? Potiphar's wife became desirous of Joseph and was desperate to have him. However, Joseph was loyal to his master to the core. Potiphar's wife, seeing that she did not succeed, therefore plotted Joseph's downfall and succeeded in getting her husband to arrest Joseph and put him in jail. Women intrigue, you will say. Sadly, the same is happening in the financial world today. The chief butler and chief baker to the king offended the king and were imprisoned. They were put in the same jail with Joseph, and the captain of the king's guard assigned Joseph to them as their servants. Executive high-handedness. Joseph must be punished maximally, you will say. One day, both the chief butler and chief baker had a dream which made them worried because they could not interpret their dreams. When Joseph, their servant, entered and saw that they were worried, they asked them why. They told him that each one of them had a dream and that there was no one to interpret it for them. Joseph affirmed that it is only God who gives the ability to interpret dreams. He then requested them to tell him their dreams. It was the chief butler that first narrated his dream, and Joseph interpreted the dream to mean that the butler will be restored back to his position in 3 days' time, and pleaded with him to remember him when the time comes, and should not forget to mention him to the king. This is sweet, you will say. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was positive, he went ahead to narrate his own dream. Joseph, having had the chief baker's dream, interpreted it to mean that the chief baker will also be released in 3 days' time. That instead of being restored to his position, he will be executed. Can you imagine the look on the face of the chief baker? It came to pass exactly as Joseph had interpreted the dreams, but the chief butler forgot all about Joseph. It was 2 years later that the king had a dream that all the magicians and wise men in the land could not interpret, that the chief butler remembered Joseph and mentioned the incidents to the king. The king ordered that Joseph be brought before him. The king told Joseph that he had a dream that no one had been able to interpret, and that he had been told that he can interpret dreams. What a relief it was for Joseph after listening to the king. Joseph told the king that he cannot, but God will give him a favorable interpretation. The king went ahead to narrate his dream to Joseph. Joseph told the king that there will be 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine. He told the king what to do during the 7 years of abundance, so that there will be adequate provision for the nation during the 7 years of famine. He also asked the king to appoint a man to manage the process. The king, in his wisdom, decided to appoint Joseph as the manager of the process, since there was no one wise enough to give him the interpretation of the dream. Therefore, the king reasoned that there is no other person better than Joseph to manage the process. The king subsequently made Joseph governor over the land of Egypt and his second in command at age 30. Joseph became the financial manager of Egypt, and everything came to pass as he had interpreted the king's dream. What reserve are you building now for your future and generations to come? Just like in the days of Joseph, a financial crisis, the magnitude of which nobody has ever experienced in the world, is about to take place. The greatest wealth transfer is imminent. How prepared are you? Will you take cue from Joseph's story and build a reserve just as he did for Egypt, and all other nations were trooping to Egypt to buy grains? If you answered yes, then you need to learn how to wealth now. You need a modern day Joseph. To own your copy of the greatest wealth transfer, why you must be part of it now, visit amazon.com/dp/B007E5MWAU. now. I want a hold me by the hand option. Then visit tinyurl.com/DOY2PV8 now. Remember, Joseph not only took action but took responsibility for his actions. To succeed, you must be ready not only to take action, but also you must take responsibility for your actions. It is then and only then that you can be part of the greatest wealth transfer. Act now. To own your copy, visit amazon.com/dp/B007E5MWAU. For your hold me by the hand option, visit tinyurl.com/BOY2PV8 now. Are you still there? Yes, you are still there. Off to tinyurl.com/BOY2PV8 now.